So I proposed this bill personally as a dog owner. I've had conversations with town clerk's office and understanding the burden that is to do a license every year, dog license, especially in a 1 month period. It's really tight for the town clerk's offices. The main change to this existing statute is to streamline for both dog owners and the town clerk's office the dog licensing procedure. Since dog licenses require a rabies vaccination certificate, and those rabies vaccination certificates are traditionally 3 years in length, it seems very inefficient to force both parties to request a dog license yearly and submit the same rabies vaccination certificate for an additional 2 years. That is very redundant, and the certificate will already be on the town clerk's office file. I do suggest the committee with LCO to relook at the wording of section 1B, lines 21 to 30. There should not be a need for a yearly or annually, it says the word annually, submission of that vaccination certificate. Again, when you come in the first time to get your license, you're going to submit that vaccination. I have one here of mine for my dog, and it's 3 years. It's good from July 8th, 2024 to July 8th, 2027. So once you put this certificate in, you do so, and then it's there for 3 years on file. To come back the next year, and then the next year after that to do the same thing, it just seems very repetitive and redundant when the certificate's not changing, it's already done and you're good. Obviously, if it runs out, you need to come in and do it. That's part of your job as a dog owner, and get that license and make sure it's on file as the right date and it's good for the timing to get your next license. So the ultimate benefit of this bill will be, number one, it's going to save dog owners money by not having to keep filing every year. The dog owners' time is also in remembering to make sure that they're doing this right. There's signs up in most towns where they put them up and make sure that they notify people it's dog license month. But it's also just having that pressure of remembering and the time. It's also going to save some time, the town clerk's time and money. From a time standpoint, obviously doing it once every 3 years versus once every year is going to help. And in fact, I think town clerks' offices lose money every single time they do this. They have to mail it out, they have to pay for the tags, all that stuff. If they only have to do it once every 3 years versus once every year, I think that's going to help them actually save a couple bucks here and there too in the office. But I want to be very clear because I did see some of the opposition in the testimony, and I want to be very clear. This is not in any way change the fact that dog owners must have their dog's rabies. Have rabies vaccination certificate, and that's not going to change. This is going to happen, and I'm not asking that change at all. This is make sure that the dogs are protected so that all the other dogs and people in the town are protected too. So I just want to make very clear that is not any purpose of this proposal.
The goal is not to increase the cost. So we would, I forget if it's a $12 license or whatever it is. We're not looking to double or triple the license fee in exchange for a longer term license, right? We're going to keep the fee the same, but just extend the term.
Correct. Yeah, I think it depends if your dog is neutered or spayed. I think it's like $7 plus there's a little additional fee, or if they're not spayed or neutered, then I think it's like $11 or $12. Yeah, so that would just stay the one time to get the license, which would be a 3-year license. It would be that same cost. So in fact, it would ultimately save money. And like I mentioned, from a town clerk standpoint, every time they have to do that license process, it actually costs them more money than actually they're making in. I think they get $1 based on the current language in the bill for that to cover that cost, and it's definitely over $2 at least for them to do so. So in fact, it'll save the money for the town and the clerk's office, but also save money for those dog owners.
Connecticut Veterinary Medical Association says the first rabies vaccine a dog receives is only known and recognized to be effective for 1 year. So how does the bill handle that?
And that's why going back to looking at that section 1B, I think we can look back at that and say, the license needs to match the years of the vaccination certificate, okay, as an example. So I think we could just tweak the word to match it, because if it is only 1 year for that first time, because the dog's smaller, maybe that could be a possibility of just tweaking it to, again, the language to make it match. The license matches the vaccination certificate. So I think that is possible. My dog is a little bit older, so I'm getting 3 years on mine the last couple of times. But that is totally feasible and totally possible. And I would support that, absolutely, as a way to make sure that the license matches certificate. I'm 100% supportive of every dog having a rabies vaccine. I do not want to, in any way, shape, or form, think that we're trying to subvert that certificate.